Hi everyone, just thought I'd mention a few facts about hummingbird feeders today in case you're thinking of hanging one up, or maybe you've already got one or more hanging up. So here's an example of a currently available model, and I don't remember the exact make of this one, but you can still get them as far as I know, or other similar ones to it. It's not critical that you get a particular model necessarily. I think the important thing though is with a hummingbird feeder is to get one with a glass bottle. So the main vase portion of this hummingbird feeder is glass. And this one's, as you can see, a good size. It holds a good volume of liquid in case you have a lot of hummingbirds coming. Or if you just want to use a smaller amount of liquid, that's also possible. But some feeders are very tiny to begin with, and that limits your ability to use a larger amount of fluid. The other important thing about hummingbird feeders is to make sure you get one that's simple to use, simple to clean. So this one, you can see it has a nice little hanging hook here in the top. The top, which also comes off, isn't where you fill the liquid. This is just a glass top with screw thread on it to accept this plastic top. But the nice thing about this top is it's already a well that you can fill up with water. So any ants that are climbing down your hanging rope or your hanging wire or whatever you're hanging this to cannot get down into the hummingbird feeder itself. You can just fill this little well here with water, and as long as you keep it filled, ants or other insects climbing down from the top can't get down to the spouts of the hummingbird feeder itself. This one also comes apart very easily. So here's the part that you fill with hummingbird liquid. So that's basically, there's another nice thing about this one. I'll just put the angle down a bit. It just sits flat on its top while you clean it, like that. So the two pieces here, basically there's a bottom piece and a top piece with the little flowers on it. So these clean out very easily. They're smooth inside. I use a pipe cleaner to clean the insides of the holes where the flowers are, because they can get blackened with mold after a time if you're hanging it out regularly. Then they just snap together, or they just clip together very easily. And then you just thread that back onto the thing very quickly like this, and there you're done. So a very nice, simple design for a hummingbird feeder. It's really important that you keep your hummingbird feeder clean. Ideally, every 3 to 4 days, you will change the fluid in your hummingbird feeder. When it comes to cleaning your hummingbird feeder, you get hot water. Then I give it a quick rinse. Then I'll get a long-handled bottle brush, such as this one. And these can be a bit tricky to, depending on the bottle style you have, to access all inside sections of the bottle. But this gets off the main crud, any main mold that has developed over the few days you've had it out there. So that's good. That's a good purchase to make if you have a hummingbird feeder. So do that for a minute or so. Rinse that out. You do the bottom sections as well. Obviously these two plastic parts. Again, the important thing is to make sure you rinse everything off thoroughly. And I use a pipe cleaner to clean out these holes here. Just takes out any black mold that might be starting to grow in there. Just run it through a few times. Give it a good rinse with hot water as well, both of these parts. And now, once you've cleaned it, you need to mix your new hummingbird juice. So what do you do for that? As you know, you can buy ready-made hummingbird nectar at the stores. I would recommend just making your own personally. Sometimes that nectar you buy at the stores has food coloring in it, and this may be a bit of news for some people who might make their own feeder hummingbird nectar and add color to it. You don't need to add color. Yes, hummingbirds are attracted to colorful flowers, but generally most of these feeders have these colorful flowers already on the base of them to attract the hummingbirds. So that you don't need to add colorant to the nectar. So what you do is you mix up a mix of white sugar and water. So 4 to 1. 4 parts water to 1 part sugar. So what I do is usually mix up 2 cups of water and a half a cup of white sugar. If you want to do 1 cup of water, then you could mix a 1/4 cup of white sugar, whatever amount you want to make. So that's the standard recipe for the mixing of the nectar, and I'll just do some of that now. So here's my 2 cups of water and my half a cup of sugar here. Half a cup of sugar. Mix it thoroughly with a spoon till all the solids are dissolved. There you can see now it's one little solid piece there. For some reason it's just a harder piece of the sugar. Get rid of that. Anyhow, that's it. Nice and clear. Pour it into the hummingbird feeder. Put the top and bottom of the hummingbird feeder together here like this. Screw it on the top and flip it over, and there you've got your filled hummingbird feeder ready for hanging. Now what I do outside usually is I tilt the feeder each way just to make sure it comes out of each of the portholes, because it takes, sometimes there's bubbles down here or air still in the lower part, so if you tilt it, it gets the air spaces out. You can see the bubbles coming up, and then you see the liquid coming out. So that's it, cleaned and ready to go out, and the hummingbirds will be happy. Remember, clean it every 3 or 4 days, and don't need to use food dye. And the sugar water mixture is 4 to 1. 4 parts water to 1 part sugar.